We're continuing on page 36 of your working file, the subject of Weld, Trim and Intersect. I'm just going to show you a few more creative ways that you can utilize these tools. So selecting this sunset bitmap, maybe a photograph you've imported or brought in from the clip art, I'm going to type the text sunset and we'll expand that up in size, and I might make it yellow in color so we can see it. Pop it on here. And also, I'd rather go with a real bold font like Arial Black. Place that there, and I'm just going to stretch it height-wise a little. Now, if I simply select these two, what do you think will happen when I click Trim? What's going to happen is that the source object, being the one on top, will be used as a cookie cutter to cut out that shape in the photographic image. So it's actually see-through, as you can see. And that can be quite handy for some special effects that you may need to create in the future. Now, if I simply select both, and this time I choose Intersect, what do you think will happen? Now remember, the object on the bottom provides the attributes. Therefore, look at that. We've actually effectively intersected our text with the image, and we have a resulting piece of text with the image in it. It's a great effect, but I also want you to know that there is another way to achieve the same thing, which we call Power Clip. And the advantage with Power Clip is that you can edit that image inside of the text, but we will look at that in another module. Moving on to our next image. Now, the reason why I've got this image is I want to create a tear effect. Now, to do that, we need to use the freehand tool, and we haven't looked at this to date, so I'm just going to select. How you use this tool is click once to create a start point, and wherever you click next time, from point A to point B, you'll create a straight line. If you hold your finger down on your mouse and simply draw, you can effectively draw anything that you want to draw. So I'm going to use that method. So starting at the top here, hold my finger down on the mouse, I'm going to try to create kind of a tear, jaggedy effect, which is never easy to do, I've discovered, creating a tear effect. I'll make that yellow, right click on yellow so that we can see it. Now, if we simply select everything, the object on top will be the source object, and we'll choose Trim. So the yellow line will be cut all the way through the image. So I'll delete that. You can't see it there. If I go to View, Simple Wireframe, you can see the cut effect there. Okay. Whenever you cut through a number of objects, you need to break them apart. Now, break apart is not available on the property bar. There may be an update for that in the future, but for right now, we would go to Arrange and Break Bitmap Apart, or Control K. So you can see the little jaggy line there now. Now watch this. I'll select the right half, click again, grab the rotation pin, pull that down there, and I'm going to rotate away as though it's been torn away. Isn't that a cool looking effect? And you might have a slogan, for example, something like hard times tearing at your savings. Or you might say hard times tearing at your savings. Click again, rotation pin to the corner there, rotate that down there like that. And there you go. We've created something you might use in a flyer. And no doubt spend a bit more time and you'd come up with some better tears than that, etc. But I just quickly wanted to show that to you. Now, our next one here, this button, I'll create a duplicate, drag this over here. This one here is going to combine a lot of what we've been learning through a number of lessons. You'll enjoy this. So create a duplicate of your button and ungroup everything first of all, and then just pull it all apart. Now, because that's white, I'll make it black in color so that we can see it. And just simply click on top and drag, and you'll find that all the bits and pieces will come apart, and drag that one down to there. And that's all there is. So effectively, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 circles, a bit of text, and a shape. So let's go ahead and create this. You'll enjoy this. It's simple, but there's a lot to learn. Finger on Control and Shift after selecting the ellipse tool. Click and drag. And it doesn't matter what size, because it will be proportionate to whatever we do. Now that I've created a perfect circle, I want to select my interactive fill tool, straight up to the property bar, and select the conical fill. Now, we haven't used this before, but it's very easy to use. Now what I want to do is just stretch this out a little, finger on control, and you can actually stretch and rotate this, but for right now I want to stay on the 180 degree mark, or the perfect horizontal if you like. Now what we want to do is we're going to grab the darker grey here, drag and drop that onto there and onto the other side, and I'm going to drag and drop right at the top there. And now we just simply grab the colour white and go halfway between the two. Can you see the effect that it creates? So you can see this effect here of kind of pulsating in and out if you like. Now watch this. Let's create a duplicate, plus on the keyboard. Finger on shift to resize it in equally. Now we're going to rotate this around so that the highlights of white are opposite the grey. You'll see what I mean. Click again for rotation handle. Now rotate round and line your mouse up just on the horizontal plane there and release. And we'll just remove the outline. Right click and remove the outline. So you can see what we've got there. Effectively, our white highlight is opposite the dark. So we've got light, dark, light, dark. So now we're going light, dark, the opposite. Make sense? Now, plus on the keyboard again to create another ellipse or duplicate. Finger on shift, shrink down a little, and we'll make that navy blue in colour. Already you can see the sense of a button with an edge. Now remember we discussed the whole light versus dark. That's what we've done here. We've got light on the inside, dark on the outside, and it creates that effect. Okay, plus again. We're just really creating constant duplicates and making them smaller. Shrink it down. Make that a light blue colour. Now we'll select our interactive fill tool. From around about 2/3 down, click and drag up. Finger on control so it drags up perfectly vertical. And then drag and drop the colour navy to the top. So we're sort of, pull it back down a little bit. So we're fading from the light blue until it just becomes the navy, matching the background there. Now, the next step is to create the half moon. Now you can see why I got you to practice that earlier. Plus on my keyboard, drag that over here. So that way we've got the right size ellipse. Plus again, drag that down a little, and I'll give that a white outline. Right click so we can see the shape of the moon effect. And I'll just go up a little higher. And that looks about right. I'm actually going to increase the size of this ellipse a little. Finger on shift and increase a little, and then come down a bit more. It sort of cuts it off at a slightly sharper angle outward, down a bit. There we go. Simply select both and trim. Then we take our object. I'll make that white in colour. Select that one. Finger on shift and select the ellipse underneath. Now I'm going to align them. So C on my keyboard and then T for top. Remember, the one on top aligns to the one on the lowest level, the lowest in the stacking order, or of course the last one we selected. Now, delete that. What colour are we going to make this? Well, I'm going to select that, select my interactive fill tool, click and drag, finger on control, and I'm going to make the starting colour that same navy blue. Just dragging through to the colour white. And there we go. If I select my word enter, plus, create a duplicate of that, pop it over there, shift page up because it's on a lower stacking order, make it white in colour, and there you go, we've created a button effect. You know what, I might even pull that down a little bit, just down to there. If you select and give that just a sort of a grey outline, maybe that's a little bit too light, select my button again, right click, and there we go. And there we go, we've created a button effect. Now, I've done that very quickly. I would normally spend a bit more time to create a little bit more of the effect, but at least you've got the idea. Isn't it amazing what you can do? Now, finally, this one is for you. I would like for you to simply figure out how to make this one on your own. It's an egg. Obviously, it's got a tear through it with a drop shadow that we've created behind. I'll leave that to you, and I really do hope you've enjoyed this set of lessons.